Hello, everybody. How are you this fine Sunday afternoon? I am here, Demetra K, along with my partner in crime, Mr. Donovan throwing rocks and hiding his hands, Sadiq. We have been on a hiatus for about 2 or 3 weeks now. Donovan has been traveling the country, and I've just been chilling, visiting with the man and all that kind of stuff. I was so much of a hurry to put on my microphone. But that's what you're here for, Donovan.
That's it.
Keep me straight. All right, and so we'll go ahead and get right into it for the sake of time. And I'd like to say hello to you guys on the podcast. Thank you for being so patient as we took some time off to rejuvenate, and we are back. And to those on YouTube who will eventually see this in its finished state, I'd like to say thank you to everybody. And again, the purpose of this show is just to talk about the things that go on in our community to try to make us better so we can understand how to get to the top. And so, as you guys can see, the topic says leaders or agents. Now, what does that mean? For those in the so-called conscious community, you might have been seeing the riffraff or the arguments, the cat fights, as someone might even call it, that's been going on in the conscious community between Dr. Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, and Dr. Biyce Watkins. Okay, so it all started from Dr. Umar Johnson. He made an announcement that he was under investigation because, and these are his words, I'm kind of paraphrasing, that black people, crabs in a barrel, have been calling and complaining to the school. I guess Penn State is where he got a lot of his licenses from. He's a psychologist. So it came into question whether he was really a psychologist or certified license and all this other stuff. He explained it, but I would confuse you guys as much as I'm confused about the whole thing if I try to explain it. And so as of tomorrow, he's got to go before the board, some psychologist board of Pennsylvania, to see whether they're going to strip his license or not. So it sounds like a lot of black people who donated money and some who didn't to his school. He's been trying to build a school for some years now, a school for boys, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey University of something. And so he's been trying to raise like $4 million. He's been having the time doing it. He used the GoFundMe to do it. And so people are saying he's a fraud, he's this and he's that. And so he's saying that's why the board, psychology in Pennsylvania, are trying to strip him of his credentials or his license or whatever it is that he has. So he's saying that I am a psychologist, and some people are saying he's not, he's a fraud. All right. And so now, what happened to start the cat fight? All right. The cat fight between Dr. Umar, Dr. Biyce, and Tariq Nasheed, if I can recall, started when I think it was Dr. Biyce who started it first. He had this live feed and he was making comments about Dr. Umar and his school. Kind of, it was shady, not even kind of shady. It was very shady. Basically, saying that he's not raising the money for a school. He doesn't have the money for the school. Just saying some pretty, I guess inflammatory things about him. And I don't think he knows if it's true or not. But he just went on this live feed just throwing rocks at him. Now, for those of you guys who do follow what's going on in the conscious community, I'm going to keep on throwing up air quotes because I don't even know what that is anymore. Dr. Biyce and Umar Johnson, I believe they did a seminar not too long ago out here in Long Beach, as a matter of fact, California. And so here now Dr. Biyce is, throwing rocks at Umar Johnson, basically saying he's a fraud, for lack of better words, and the school is not really going to take place. And then somehow Dr. Tariq Nasheed, the creator of the Hidden Colors documentary, he got into the cat fight and it just blew up. I mean, they're calling each other names. Just you name it. And so Dr. Umar, who calls himself the Prince of Pan-Africanism, whatever that means, he's also a descendant of Frederick Douglass, so he says. They being Tariq and Dr. Biyce and Umar, they're arguing, calling each other names. You this, you that, you fat, you're a fraud. Just the worst. They just gangsters. And so they're supposed to be the leaders in the conscious community. And so let's just say us who may be following them or not following them. I listen to a lot of things that they do and say, but as far as being a follower, I don't know about that. But so they're saying there's people who are following these guys. And so now the people who are following, they're in like a tailspin. Because it's like, okay, wait a second. Here's our leaders. Our leaders are supposed to be, giving us this dynamic information. They're supposed to be leading us the way. They're supposed to be, telling us how to get out from under the, being at the bottom of the totem pole. Hey, Joseph. And now here you guys are like conscious gangsters. They're talking about what they gonna do to each other. I bet not see you.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised, okay. But it's like,
isn't that what most we do within our community? Crabs in a basket, isn't that?
Yeah, but at least I like all the leaders, so-called. They had their issues. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad. They've all had their issues, but I can't recall. Even Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they had their little words, but it was never you mother effer, you fat B, and your mama this, and you. I never recall seeing any videos that portrayed that kind of stuff. Yeah, but these dudes are just, and so it's like. I just thought of this today. Are they agents or are they truly trying to be leaders? Because when I think of somebody who's an agent, I think of somebody, and for those of you who have followed all the infiltrations that's happened with the Marcus Garvey, the Black Panther movement, all those things, you think about those people, the agents who came in under the cover of, I'm here to help. I'm here to, help the movement go along. And then all of a sudden it was that agent that, helped dilapidate the movement. And so to me, I just have to wonder, are people but Tariq Nasheed, who, for those of you guys who know a little bit about Tariq Nasheed, he had these books and these films or whatever, before he did the Hidden Colors, talking about the art of macking. Basically how to get the holes, and now all of a sudden he's this conscious person. He's making all these hidden colors. Everybody flocked to see him, got the bootlegs. Mm-hmm. And so, here these people are, and here we are, but yet, so it's like you guys just did a 360. What happened to, we need to unify, and this is what the white people are doing to us, and so we need to not fall for it, and so here you guys are acting like agents. So what you're saying is they're not practicing what they preach. No, they're not practicing what they're preaching. I get it. There's a lot of people who don't walk the walk, and I'm going to get to you guys' comments in just a second, but these people are they just came unglued, like, I'm not even going to pretend that I'm a conscious person anymore. They got these big old egos. They want to be highly lifted up, like the Prince of Pan-Africanism. That says to me that I'm bigger than the movement. And Tariq Nasheed, I can't go on YouTube and see a video in the last couple of weeks or week or so without him calling Dr. Umar, Dr. Umoist, calling him Umoist. And, he's a Prince of Peach Cobbler. And that kind of stuff. It's like, wait a second. And so, do you think that it's somebody in their ears kind of saying, you're the, it's like being in a music group. Oh, you're the lead singer. No, it's you. You're the one that sells the records. But if, let's just say we're going with the angle that these cats are agents, that it's very plausible that they are working for the man. Okay. They are getting, because the allegation too is that Tariq Nasheed, a lot of his Hidden Color films were funded by white people, and that I guess he gets some of the money back. You have investors. You gotta do what you gotta do. So it's like the movie made, right? But so he's telling everybody else how to be better black people and unify, but yet you're taking money from the same people we're supposed to be unifying away from. So and then so Dr. Boyce, I saw the live feed that he did, and so basically he's done one of your moves. He's throwing rocks and he's hiding his hand. Now he's just like, so now I want to get back to talking about Bitcoin. Right, but it's like, dude, you're the catalyst to the Dr. Umar and the Tariq Nasheed nonsense. You started this, and now you want to get back to talking about Bitcoin. Okay, and so I'm gonna get to you guys' comments. Oh man. All right, and so Joseph, hey lady, how are you, Joseph? How was your New Year? And Abdullah, what's happening, my fellow vegan? You say Dr. Umar is a narcissist. He takes all the people's money, over $700,000, produce no schools. Tariq and Umar are milking the conscious community, and that was the allegation, or the accusation rather, that he's taking all this money and that he's living off of the money instead of building a school. But not to be on Dr. Umar's side, because I don't really know what the guy is doing with the money. But it sounded like the money was still in the GoFundMe account, and that he needs about $4 million to complete the school. He says he's close, and that he's got a couple schools or options in different places that he's thinking about doing. So, but yeah, I agree with you that it does seem like there is some milking going on. Hey, Edward, what's happening? He says, "Good evening, Queen. Good evening to you." And Joseph, you said it's all about money, and unfortunately, you're right, because you see a lot of people in the conscious community and they're selling. I'm not saying you shouldn't make your money. You should make your money. But you got people selling detoxes. You got people selling this and that. And it's like, okay, but what happened to the knowledge? What happened to the movement? What happened to teaching everybody how to get this money, to organize it? Just so you're right, it has become a money-making scheme. And then you also say it's more like the church now. Laugh out loud. So much confusion. Yes. That's exactly what it is. I can't remember who the guy was. I was watching YouTube the other day, and he says that in order to make the conscious movement work, we are going to have to think like the church did. They were able to organize and get people together on one common ground, but
not going to happen.
But right, but like the churches, you have the Israelites, you have the Christians, you have the Muslims, you have
Northern Baptist, Southern Baptist, so Eastern Baptist.
Okay, yeah, but why can't we all have just like one thing?
Can't. Individuality.
Right, and Abdullah said Tariq hired all white people to produce Hidden Colors and married to a white woman. I did hear that. Now I think his woman, she's not white, she's mixed. Because I have heard people make that criticism of him. So she is mixed. I don't know if that makes any difference to you, but but yeah. So that I also heard that he did hire white people to help him produce the movie. So it's like you're talking about getting away from the false idea of white supremacy, but you're allowing white supremacy to produce your work. Sort of like NAACP.
Yeah.
Who, have mostly white people start the organization.
The people that fund you, they are the ones that are going to tell you what you can do and what you can't do.
Absolutely. You're going to do what we say and listen, we're going to give you the money.
If we don't like what you're saying, we're going to stop that.
Exactly. And so, Edward, you say it's about divide and conquer, and we are all looking at each other as the enemy. Absolutely. And then you got these guys who are supposed to be at the, I guess, I don't know who put them there. If we put them there, they put themselves there, but they're supposed to be at the helm of the conscious community. They all talk about RBG, red, black, and green, Marcus Garvey, all this other stuff. But then y'all turn around and act like some niggas. Wow.
It could be their hustle.
I mean, obviously it's a hustle. I mean, it's like y'all, but to me, it also says you black folks are so stupid that we can act a goddamn fool and y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it. We can get up here and call each other names. And we got this audience of people who are watching this.
Well, isn't that the blueprint?
Well, yeah, but it's at some point in time, either they're going to have to wise up or we're going to have to wise up.
Well, the thing is, we haven't wised up in how many years?
Forever.
Exactly. So if it's working, why change?
Right. But eventually we're going to have to say, okay, the gig is up. And so Abdullah says, how are you going to warn them? How are you going to warn about white supremacy and you hire them and mixing with them? Yeah, well, no. I agree, but again, my mom, God rest her soul, she used to always get mad when I say, if you want to hide something from a black person, you put it in the book. It would just drive her nuts. Mm-hmm. But it's true, to your point, Abdullah, it's like, we don't do our research. We have all flocked to go see these Hidden Color movies, and we, some good information in there. We, all told our friends and family about it. It's just great. But we don't even know who's making these movies possible. We're not even doing the research to see who's funding these things. And to Donovan's point, it's like, well, if Donovan's giving me some money, he's giving me some money to kind of get some of his stuff done. It's like a politician with a lobbyist. Listen,
right?
Here's the tobacco industry. We're going to give you some money. Oh, you're just going to give me some money? Well, yeah, but we need you to talk about our stuff.
It's right. We need you to vote in a certain way.
So, I mean, it's the same thing. So you're right, Abdullah. And then Joseph, you said the hybrid is winning. Now, what is the hybrid? Do tell. And Abdullah says, Umar said GoFundMe took all the money and he produced no IRS credentials for a nonprofit organization. I like some things Umar says, but by asking poor people to produce a school isn't the way black people, isn't the way black people always on some idiotic shit, man. Well, yeah, I mean... but look at it this way. Let me play devil's advocate. And I agree. He should produce some paperwork. To me, it's like if you are on the up and up, and I'm not saying he's not. I don't know if he is or he's not. But if you're on the up and up and you got all your paperwork in order, just produce it.
Wait a minute. I'm going to have to interject here.
Uh-oh.
Why should he produce any kind of paperwork? We got a white man sitting in the White House that will not show his taxes, and everybody's cool with that.
Well, but again, we're always going to hold our own to higher standards than we hold everybody else.
Really? So when we seen these girls going to the strip clubs and we were telling them not to do it, and they still do it, we're holding our people to the higher standard?
Well, no, I'm saying in regards to like Dr. Umar and somebody, maybe it was him, made this point that nobody has asked Dr. Phil to see his credentials or any of these other, professionals.
Yeah,
but when it comes to our own, I need to see the receipts.
You see
I need to see, credentials and,
that's
all this. We want to make sure before I give you one red cent that you got everything lined up for me to be happy with you. But how many of you guys have walked into your doctor's office? How many? And said, well, before you get to treat me, I need to see your credentials.
I've done it.
You've done it?
I've done it.
Okay, you're that one rare Negro in the bunch.
I've done it. I look for their certification.
Well, because I never get to the doctor's office per se. I always go into the patient room. But how many of us have done that? Have said, let me see your credentials before you stick me. Or you pull a tooth or whatever you're going to the doctor for.
But, you bring up a good point because when I started running for office, everybody says, well, you don't have no 12 degrees.
Yeah. Donovan, like you said, when he was running for city council, he has 11 degrees. And it wasn't even really white people who was questioning him. It was black people. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't have 11 degrees.
Yeah, you're right.
No, there's no way. What kind of degrees do you have? It's like, wow, really? And then so Edward, he said, we are still enslaved in the mind. Absolutely. And Secret Guard, hey, what's happening? He said, leaders have to earn their leadership positions through their actions when they F up and leave in a ditch. Well, okay, but so how do they earn it? You know what I mean? Like, what can they do? Because I don't know if Umar, Biyce, I don't even want to call them leaders, but they're just kind of the more prominent people in our black community, leadership community, I guess you can say right now. What have they done to earn our trust? Because now you're seeing all this stuff unfold, and it's like, man, you guys are acting like high school teenage girls.
Well, if you think about it, if our leadership if they're acting like that, how do you expect us to follow?
Right, but I'm saying, and imagine how many people are following these people and who won't research for themselves. They take everything they say as gospel. They won't crack open a book. They won't go to even YouTube or Google and try to see or verify any of this stuff. And so now you're watching these guys act like I don't even know what just the
bitches.
Bitches. And yet, so here you are. Do you follow that or do you say, okay, I'm turned off? I mean, it's just, to me, it's crazy. And then so Joseph said, hybrid is the cracker. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Senior Guy says, produce a yearly report when you take the people's money. And a lot of churches do that. And a lot of churches don't. Hey, Tammy. He said, I like Dr. Umar. The issue he speaks on and real. He's passionate about edifying his people. I don't see many attempting to do as he does. He is making an effort to improve the condition of blacks. Let's see more. Of blacks in this country. And all I see is a lot of ignorant people trying to pull this brother down. It's unfortunate that he has to go through what he's going through. Lastly, he earned those credentials, so leave him alone. And you know what? I tend to agree with Tammy because I watch and follow a lot of Dr. Umar's stuff. And I would say that a lot of stuff he says you really can't argue with. He's making a lot of sense. And so I think because he is so prominent, I don't know if he's more prominent than Tariq or Dr. Biyce. I guess Tariq is making this claim that he discovered Dr. Umar. And so that's part of the little cat fight. But, I mean, the man is very knowledgeable. And even if he didn't have credentials, it's like, so what? Is what he's saying true or not true? I mean, I have 2 degrees, but I rarely talk about them because in the larger scheme of things, they don't, I mean, what do they really mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of times I regret even going to get the damn thing, to be honest with you.
It just means that you have a potential to learn something that's in a book.
Yeah, or the man or whatever institution is going to give you a little bit more money because you got a degree. But it's like, what does it really mean? Well, like, who is it really helping that I have these degrees, So I agree with Tammy. And Abdullah says, is that a bad thing, asking for credentials? He is talking about our children. It's a legitimate concern. However, good point, Demetri. Well, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think if somebody asks you for your credentials and you truly have them, you should just give it to them just to squash the noise. But to push back a little bit, Abdullah, how many of us have sent our children to school and said, oh, well, Miss such and such teacher, before you teach my daughter, I need to see your teaching credentials or your degrees. I need to see those things before you teach my daughter one thing. I've never done it.
Right. Let me interject real quick right here for those that might not know. These charter schools and stuff, there is no credential for anybody to come and teach in those schools.
Right. And then somebody was saying, too, that why don't Dr. Umar open up a charter school? And they're like, well, that's still connected to the man. That's still connected to white money and the government and all of that. So it wouldn't really be a fully functioning black school. So, and so, hey, Benny, what's happening? He said, first of all, Happy New Year, Demetri. Happy New Year to you as well. He said, now, this is my point on our desperate need to fix our mental stability before we can even attempt to venture off into any other forms of progression, no matter, let's see. Oops. I always lose my spot. One day I'm going to get good at not lose. Okay, no matter how educated we get, how rich we get, or how enlightened we get, eventually we spiral back to our same old behavior and our desperate need for leaders in fact, leaving us exposed to our enemies and unfortunately killing our momentum towards unity. The issue with these brothers are not their fault, but our own, but continuously attaching ourselves emotionally to the man and not the information and not looking to ourselves as the leaders that we need to be. The reason we keep repeating this issue is because our mental trauma is not being seriously addressed. We want to jump over step 1 and go straight to step 5. And in doing so, we will continue to fall back down the stairs every time. And you're absolutely right. We do have to fix what's going on in our head. And as Dr. Joyce DeGruy always talks about in her lectures, we are suffering from post-traumatic stress or a slavery syndrome. Slave syndrome, and that we are still suffering effects from slavery almost 500 years ago. In addition to your other point, we don't research for ourselves. It's just like a lot of people sitting in church. The Bible, the pastor tells you one thing, and we say, yes, amen. But in that very same Bible he's supposed to be preaching from, it tells you in 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved, rightfully dividing the word of truth. So it's telling you, listen, that man up there might be telling you the truth, and he might not. But if you research it for yourself, then you'll know for sure. So there's no reason why you should be getting led astray now, unless you want to. So I totally agree with you, Benny. And our song says, okay, I don't know, I'm late just walking in, but I did hear something about hidden colors. I do understand that the idea of hiring whites for the documentary seems counterproductive. And that is, let's see, oops. I'm going to find my spot. Okay. Hiring whites for the documentary is counterproductive, and that is a fact. I cannot say anything against it. However, did he lose artistic control? Do we know for a fact that he did not try to hire blacks? He may have and found none. Now, not here to defend him, but to be fair, it's the final work that matters. Hidden colors, lasting effect, change or open the eyes of many people, young ones included. Lastly, to imitate the one, quote unquote, who mastered the system, let me ask, how much of the United States was built by blacks who were never given the credit for it? I'm quite sure we have lots to do with building the actual White House, but do they make it look that way? No. I just think people like to pick on people building stuff. I'll write about Dr. Umar later. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess, but to me, to Donovan's earlier point, it is kind of hard to have. Yeah, he might have creative control, but how creative are you going to be? Okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever just given somebody some money? I'm not saying for charity, but like, you know, you wanted them to do something, but you didn't tell them. You just gave them the money and said, well, here's the money to help you with your project. I'm sure you would at least say, put my name in the credit. Can you air my commercial? Can you talk about my product? So yeah, you're going to have some creative control, but how creative are you going to be if you're getting money from the person that you're really talking about or you're speaking against? And so you're asking some good questions. I mean, I don't know.
You're not going to go deep into it.
Yeah.
You might say something, but you might not get really deep.
Right. You know, you're going to touch on it.
Yeah. You're not going to bludgeon them.
Right.
You know?
That's just like that. But that reminds me with the, when Farrakhan said he had the meeting with Barack Obama before he became president, Barack asked him, even though Barack has been seen, in Farrakhan's church and around Farrakhan, and they, were cool, I guess, before he decided to, pursue higher office or whatever, he told Farrakhan, well, it's been real. We're going to have to go our separate ways now because, you know, these white folks ain't really going to like me. You know,
I gotta cut. I have to cut ties.
Right. I mean, look what happened when they even invoked the name of Jeremiah Wright. Yeah. Damn, it cost him the doggone presidency.
Right.
Because of, you know,
Hillary was playing dirty. She said, hey.
So it's like, these people, but Barack knew who was really greasing his wheels. And it was, black people like to say, oh, we got him in the office, which we did.
We did.
But we know that a lot of white dollars was behind that. Because if it wasn't, he would have been like, forget these white people, what they talking about. I'm getting some 40 acres and a mule.
It was all white dollars.
Right. So no, I definitely get your point. All right. And so Secret Garden says, pulling leaders down is a part of the game. Stop crying leaders and just lead. But when they go low, let's go high. Yes, indeed. Michelle Obama. No, I'm just playing. No, absolutely. I mean, but to Benny's point, we got to be our own leaders. We got to stop waiting because, I mean, hell, we know what happened when you just blindly follow people. You end up in Guyana drinking cyanide-laced Kool-Aid. You know, you end up in some places you really don't want to be because you didn't do the research for yourself to see if this is somebody I truly need to be following in order to give me the right information. So, and then Abdullah says, be honest, I don't care about his credentials. I'm just wondering, why is it taking so long to open up the school? 5 years. Well, from what he's saying, I don't know why, but from what he's saying is that black people are slow with the donations. We are slow giving the money. He needs $4 million. And as you remember, too, he got caught up with the whole stripper thing.
Sorry.
He got caught up with the stripper thing.
Sorry.
And some football player was going to give him like $1 million to $2 million or something. But then the football player
backed out.
Yeah, he backed out because of the whole stripper thing. You know, the stripper released his text messages. And then during the time, Umar Johnson was saying that he was celibate and all this other stuff. And then during that time when the stripper outed him and Tariq Nasheed was ganging up on the stripper, calling her all kind of names. It was really Tariq, but they were doubling down on her. And so it's like, y'all supposed to be uplifting black women. And I'm not saying this is a black woman to be uplifted, but I don't know the lady's story. But here y'all are, instead of saying, you know what, I'm busted, I lied, I'm not celibate, I'm getting my groove on with strippers. They wanted to take her down and say, oh, she's trying. And even Tariq was saying, oh, she's an agent. She's trying to take you down. She knows what you were trying to do with the school, and so she's trying to take you down. So now here Tariq is doing the same thing.
So they were doing a Tommy Sotomayor.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, you know.
Then our song says, fine. But then I would ask, what do you feel, in your opinion, that was lacking from the documentaries, or how much do you feel might have been concealed? I watched, I think, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 in its entirety. I don't know about this. Got 4 or 5 of them by now. I watched a few of them in its entirety. I mean, I'll be honest. It shed a lot of light on stuff that I didn't know. So I don't know what's being concealed. I mean, there's, you know, you figure black people and our history and our potential is limitless. And so did he conceal anything? I don't know. I think they were very informational and educational. But I think Tariq should be very careful in that he's calling Dr. Umar's credentials and his efforts into question. But it's like, you got to remember, not too long ago, you was talking about how to mac hoes and the art of macking. And so I'm not saying people can't turn over a new leaf and be somebody else, but be careful when you're throwing rocks at other people because you live in a glass house. That's all I'm saying. I don't have any problem with the hidden colors, the concept of it at all. But I mean, how can you talk pro-black and you taking white money? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for even asking the question. And so, hey, Capri said, I so agree with you on this. Well, thank you. And Abdullah says, seriously, who cares about what a man does with his penis?
His wife. His wife.
Umar targets single mothers. That's his methodology. And that is an excellent point. If you're targeting single mothers, but then you're tearing down the strippers who, and as
are single mothers,
say, are single mothers, they're probably going to be the ones that are going to send their sons to your school. And so either you're going to edify these single mothers, or you're going to take ownership over your penis, not yours, but Dr. Umar's penis, and say, listen, I'm a grown man. I can screw whatever I want to screw. Right. But it was, I guess people are taking him to task because it's like, oh, I'm celibate. You really shouldn't be putting your thing in everybody. You need to be, here with it instead of here with it. And all this other stuff. And so he just got busted. The stripper called him up with the emails and leading her on and all this other just drama. Tyler Perry stuff, really. But no, I agree. Like, I don't care what he does with it. And do you? And so Secret Garden says, teachers teach. They teach in their living room. They teach in the church. They teach in the library. Teachers teach if they are not teaching. No money. No, absolutely. I mean, and listen, I don't, you said big up to the stripper community.
Amen, brother.
I'm not saying, I think people should get paid for what they do. I don't have a problem.
Regardless of what it is.
Yeah, well.
Regardless of what it is. I don't know,
you murdering people.
They should get paid if they're going to be an assassin.
Right, but I don't have a problem with Umar, Tariq, Biyce, and even pastors getting paid for what they do. The problem comes in when you're just getting paid. Nobody else is getting paid. So if I'm coming to your church and you keep taking up these big old offerings, you got the building fund, you got the love offering, you got the first Sunday, you got this and that, but the church is...
Or like Kirk Franklin, kind of, when he had that big single and he didn't pay any of the people that sang on the album and produced the album, none of that. Didn't give him a dime.
So that's where the problem comes in. When you're making money and you're supposed to be helping people, but you're not, you're just helping yourself. So, I mean, I think you should get paid for what you do. Yes, I don't think anybody should work for free. I mean, if you've obtained the knowledge and you want to share with people and you're asking for donation, I think you should be able to ask for that. Hey, Jonelle, what's happening? Peace to you as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I just, to me, that question came into my mind. Are they agents or are they leaders? Because to me, they're acting like agents now. It's like all this stuff. Like, why would you make Hidden Colors 1 through 5 or however many there are? Now, all the videos you've made in the last week are calling another brother who has been on all of your videos. You're calling them names. Like, there's no, you're not even being knowledgeable. You're just calling names.
Can I interject real quick? Could it possibly be controversy sells more, like in Ruthless and Death Row? Because all of that was, let me get the album to see how he answered, and Ice Cube, NWA, you know?
Yeah, I think controversy definitely sells, but they're not even, the stuff they're doing is like Twitter beefs among 12-year-olds.
Yeah, but that does also get people interested in kind of listening to what's going on. Kind of.
Maybe they're trying to draw over the Tyler Perry crowd. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just speculating, but I just happen to know when Ice Cube left NWA, the record sales kept coming, the beef, East Coast versus West Coast.
Right. See, I know you haven't really seen them, but when you see them, I'll maybe tag you in a few of them. You're going to be like, wow, really? This is not even educated beefing. It's just, yo, mama, you fat. You like peach cobbler. Oh, you Dr. Umoy's. Oh, you this, you that, you bitch nigga. I'll kick your ass. And it's like, well, hello?
Well, then again, that also goes back to some of the pastors that want all the money.
Right, but it's like, it's baffling. To me, it's baffling. I know I shouldn't be baffled, but I'm baffled. Like
when Deacon Smith leaves the church and then starts his own church, that's when that pastor starts talking bad about him. That was in the
and that's another point, too. Somebody was saying to Tariq, he was saying that he knew that Dr. Umar was a fraud. It's like, well, if you knew he was a fraud, then why did you let him in all of your movies? If you knew it, so now you're just acting stupid, you know. Hey, Benny said, I don't call them leaders because they're not leading people nowhere. No, absolutely. Apparently not now, right? They're not leading us anywhere. It's like, what is going on here? What is this? What are we watching? To me, it's just like so embarrassing. These brothers are known for calling people coons. And you're acting like them. So that's why to me, the thought came in my mind, are you guys really agents? Is someone paying you guys money? Okay, get in there, infiltrate, make these black people think that
mass confusion.
Yeah, but first make them think that you're on the team and I got you and I'm teaching you something. Right, and then, bam. We just doing it. It wasn't even a gradual.
And then people would just start giving up, like, oh, well, hell with it.
Exactly, because imagine how many people who are giving up. You're like, I'm just going to go back to where I was. I don't want to be in this conscious community thing no more.
This is bull. It's like everything else.
Right. Let me go on back to cooning or whatever it is I was doing, you know. And then Abdullah says, Tariq and Umar are mentally unstable. Tariq should look into comedy, though. You know, he can be kind of funny, but lately he's been kind of annoying with the name calling. And now he's going to make a puppet. Because he has a puppet of Tommy Sotomayor. Wow. So now he's going to make a puppet of Dr. Umar Johnson. calling them Umoy. It's just like
it's entertainment.
And people, you're right, it is entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like black people, which is going to go into my next topic. What's next for black people in 2018? The entertainment factor has to leave. Like, I like a good joke and a hardy har every now and again, but eventually we are going to find ourselves in an even more of a worse spot than we are now. And I'll go into that topic right now, and I'll go ahead and address the other comments. So the question I have is what's next for black people in 2018? I don't know if you guys have followed the case where in Georgia, about almost 100 people got taken into police custody because they found some less than an ounce of marijuana at this party. It was predominantly black people at this party, and every last one of them got booked.
Yeah, it was like 160 people.
Yeah, got booked and taken to jail.
Because nobody owned up to who's...
Yeah, but like, most time you hear of a party or something, somebody find out a police coming, they're like, hey, go home.
Mm-hmm.
Go home, break it up. But you took all these people in there, said a lot of people lost their jobs because they couldn't bail out.
Right. Or it was the next, they had to be at work the next day.
Yeah, they got stuff on their school records now, and they might jeopardize their education.
Well, you know why they're doing that? Real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me just tell you something
Break
like
it
that.
on down.
With California and some of the major cities that have made this like legal.
Oh, yeah.
Now that takes away the police's suspicion to charge us with crimes and things like that, probable cause and things like that. So they're trying to just, in a panic, get as many people they can get.
That's almost, I don't even know if that's ever been done. That's almost unheard of that all those people go to jail behind less than an ounce of marijuana. Not like a less than a half a football stadium of marijuana.
Yeah, and like they had like a kilo.
Right, I don't even know what less than an ounce of marijuana is, but it doesn't sound like it. Like
it's nothing. It's nothing. Yeah. It's like a dime bag. Not that I know what that is.
So
I don't.
So what's next for us? I mean, these people, and this happened in Georgia, feel so compelled and just like with ease to lock up all these black people.
Mm-hmm. And Jeff Sessions went and reversed the Obama era thing on federal thing. But here's the thing about federal thing. There's not enough federal policemen, because there isn't a lot of federal policemen to enforce that. So it's basically an empty thing. So. And
then so Benny says they acted like beefing rappers. Yeah, but I don't even know. Yeah, I guess.
That's what I said.
But I'm trying. Yeah, you did say it. I'm trying to think if I've even seen rappers go that doggone low. And Jonelle says, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God." They just fell victim to their egos. They don't have love beyond their pride to be true leadership. And pride and ego, vanity shines. I'm sorry. Bright. They're only, in truth, self-destruction. Yeah, I mean, and that's honestly was at the helm of this. It's egos. I am the Prince of Pan-Africanism. I discovered you. I am the Bitcoin king.
Yeah. It's always want to be the number one. Everybody wants to be number one.
But it's just like, why are you seeking to be highly lifted up? If you're truly a leader, leaders seek to lift up their people and the movement or whatever it is they're doing.
Well, to me, a true leader wants to see their subordinate do better, like a father and a child and a mother. Right. You want to see the child do better than you, or pick up that baton and take it farther than you did.
Not these fools.
Yeah, and that's one of the big problems in our community. We hate to see other people do better than what we've done, or as far as we can go.
And that's what Dr. Umar was saying, the crab in a barrel syndrome. Yeah.
We hate it.
They see him making strides, and so all of a sudden here's all this hate going on. And so Billy says, Benny. It says transparency is paramount in any grassroots organizing. But we also have to be willing to coordinate, organize, and compromise with other brothers and sisters that are doing the same things that you are trying to do and are having some success at it, even if it's at a smaller scale than what you're aspiring to do. Be willing to start small and grow, keeping the confidence of your following and donors, maintaining forward mobility and impressions of unity. Even if everyone doesn't agree on everything, we still keep the common goal in mind, which should trump all egos and personal agendas.
He must be following your show.
Oh, no. Well, shoot, I'm following Benny.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? I mean, that's exactly how your show originated.
But that's, you know what's funny? I was watching, a lot of you have probably seen this. I've seen it before, but I watched it again today. The Spook Who Sat by the Door. How many of you guys have seen that movie, The Spook Who Sat by the Door? So when I watched it, and because it talked about pretty much everything you just said, Benny, when I watched it today, I'm like, I'm surprised that they even allowed this movie to be produced because dude, in the movie, I mean, what it was he was this agent. He was training to be this, what do you call it? Espionage.
Yeah. Spy.
So it's a spy. So he went off with the white people, the FBI, the government, whatever. They trained him on all this stuff. And after 5 years of absorbing all of that, he took it back to the hood. Yeah. And he told them, oh, well, I'm just going to go and do some community organizing. But
excellent
what he went to do, he went and, got
infiltrated.
Right. He taught the neighborhood.
Yeah, he used what they trained and taught his people.
To teach his people how to take it back.
Right.
An excellent movie. You guys should really check it out if you haven't checked it out. And so Secret Garden says, people go to jail every day for nothing, just the lies of police. Absolutely. But Donovan always asks this question, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How the hell, come on now, y'all. If they took over 100 Asians to jail for some
missing dogs. Missing dogs and cats in the neighborhood.
I'm not even going to go there. For less than a half an ounce of marijuana, do you know the whole Asian community would be up in arms?
They would.
They would be up in arms. But black people, because, they took 100 of us to jail with it. It's not right.
It's not right.
Civil rights. And so what? What you going to do?
What you going to do? That's what it comes down to.
In our community, you ain't going to do nothing.
We complain, we yell, we scream.
Right.
But at the end of the day, nothing's done.
Yep. And Abdullah says, men have serious ego issues. I think black women should rule the world. Oh, shoot. You better watch out now.
Good thing this is your show.
Well,
Good thing this is your show.
Some people say that black women are starting to, even though that's not really our job. It's supposed to be y'all job. I mean, we're supposed to...
Ratchetness forever. That's what's winning. That's what's winning right now. That's what's winning right now.
Our song says, by the way, I forgot to say Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year to you. And just to be clear, I agree with the basis of your question about the white money. Now about everybody saying that we should be leaders ourselves. Let's say Seymour. Leaders ourselves. I agree with 200% that would be the ideal scenario. And that's just the problem and ideal, quote unquote. The fact is that most people are followers, almost programmed this way. So just like religion, although it shouldn't be one, something will have to resemble the like-minded people somehow. Sure, we shouldn't wait for a leader, but most times I speak to different people. I find it hard to get them to change their habits. I'm just wondering here. Well, again, Marcus Garvey had the ideology of we're not going to be able to save everybody. Some people don't want to change their mind. Some people like being in the state that they're in. They don't see a problem with it. And so us making them or trying to make them do it is just a wasted effort when we could be spending that effort on those who are like-minded. And I can't remember who just made that point. I believe it was Benny or maybe it was you, Arsan, but we got to spend that time with people who are like-minded, people who are going to do or go the same path to some degree of what we're doing. You don't want to be playing tug of war with people. Come over here. Stop cooning. Stop doing this. Oh, you're Walking Dead. Wake up. That's just like, eventually, if they want to do that, they're going to wake up when they see everybody else going on without them. Hopefully. And so Secret Garden said the spook has guts and brains. Yes, it's an excellent movie. We should all check it out. I'm surprised that the government, FBI and them, would even allow that type of movie to be circulated. I mean, it was really...
Well, that goes to show you how dead we are, because they're not afraid, because, like you said, you want to hide something from a black person? Put it in a movie or a book.
Yeah, but it's like, we should be watching that movie.
We ain't going to watch those movies. We're going to watch bank robbing movies. We're going to be watching this movie, that movie. We're not going to everything but.
I mean, and toward the end of the movie, they didn't say whether the black people won or whether the black people lost. And I like that they left it open, because me and Al were actually watching it. And he was like, well, wow, what a way to end it. I said, I get why they ended it, because it's like the ending is truly up to you. You guys go, and this movie was made in 1973. So you guys go right the end of this movie. Either you're going to succeed or you're going to fail. But the ending is up to you guys. That's the way I interpret it.
Exactly.
And then you also say, Secret Garden, Asian community would bail their people out of jail. They would bail their people out of jail, and they would say, listen, we got all this spending capital that we are going to continue to rob you guys of if you don't treat our people with some respect. As it is, we practice group economics. We don't need you for anything, but I tell you what, you ain't going to be getting none of these donations when it comes to political season. We're not going to fund the police force, none of this stuff if you guys continue to mistreat our
things
people.
And then things change.
Exactly. And they wouldn't have did that to them. They wouldn't have did that to 100 Jewish people. They would do that to us, though, because what we going to do is cry, get on Al Sharpton and say, oh,